Welcome to my unboxing and first look at a product that is actually very exciting. Now, the whole performance micro ATX motherboard thing, I guess I'd have to say, was really started by EVGA back in the socket 939 days. So they had their SLI motherboard, which was using... Shoot, what chipset was that? Wow, it fails me at this point, but whatever. Okay, so they had a truly performance-oriented micro ATX motherboard, which was later, sort of the concept of which was later copied by DFI, and then Asus got on board with their Gene series of motherboards, and now finally Gigabyte has a truly legitimate high-end mATX board. So this has all the usual features, so we'll start with what they got on the front here. So this is a Z77 board, which means we do have support for Virtue MVP, 3rd generation Intel Core series processors, i3s, i5s, and i7s, including support for PCI Express 3.0. It is SLI and Crossfire X ready, meaning if you're running a 7970, which I happen to have one of over there, or a GTX 680, which I happen to have one of over there, those are PCI Express 3.0 ready graphics cards that will run in SLI and Crossfire with double the usual bandwidth. So PCIe 3 8X and 8X will be equivalent to PCIe 2.0 16X 16X. We've also got their patent-pending 3D power as well as 3D BIOS, so that's their dual UEFI BIOSes, so that's 2 independent chips, and then their 3D power is their all-digital power delivery system that they're using on this board. What else we got here? Super speed, so we're using Intel Gigabit Ethernet. We have SATA 3, USB 3, and 3X power. This has been a popular marketing scheme for Gigabyte since they introduced it, and I think it's awesome because, yeah, it means you got all the highest speed interfaces, and the 3 times power thing is cool because it means that you can deliver up to 3 times the amount of power through a single port as you can with a standard port, which allows you to run more devices off of a single port, which is cool. Okay, Super Hearing, Creative Sound Core 3D, so they do have a dedicated section of the PCB for their headphone amplified sound. What else we got here? Super Shield, so 4 smart fan connectors, multiple GPU support, Lucid Virtue MVP. So Virtue MVP is the upgraded version of Lucid Virtue that comes with the Z77 platform. So you've got your virtual VSync as well as some performance improvements and less of a performance hit when using Virtue versus just using a dedicated graphics card compared to previous generation products. All right, we got, so we have the poster I showed you. Here's some, stickers that I guess you might think are cool. Here's a user's manual as well as an installation DVD, which you can not use and download the latest off the Gigabyte website, as well as finally a multilingual installation guidebook. We've got 6 SATA cables, 3 right angle and 3 straight. We have a black flexible SLI cable, the very best kind, and we have an I/O shield with everything conveniently labeled. Next, we have the motherboard itself. Gigabyte has done a fantastic... Seriously, like, the old Gigabyte is just out of sight, out of mind for me at this point, because the new Gigabyte, which seems to be all about wicked awesome color schemes, great aesthetics, as well as their stable, high-quality design, is just... yeah, very much improved, and I love it. So check out this board. It looks fantastic. We've got a stylish looking heatsink, no guns, no bullets, just a sleek overall look. 4-pin power connector up here. Now, some people have, in our assembly department, actually commented on the 4-pin power connector in spite of this being a performance board, to which I said, come on guys, the platform, the highest TDP CPU on it is a 95-watt TDP CPU. We're not talking high power consumption here. And I thought it was silly back when we were putting dual 8-pins on 1155 boards anyway. A 4-pin is going to be just fine, don't worry about it. Alright, so there is your digital power delivery, your 4-pin power, as well as your 4 DIMMs supporting dual channel memory. So remember guys, with Z77 as well as 3rd generation Core Series processors, we do find it easier to overclock the memory and get high frequencies out of your memory. So if you wanted to invest in a higher end memory kit, I guess now's as good a time as any. Your 24-pin connectors in its ideal location along the right hand edge, and your front USB 3.0 header is right about here. Remember guys, this is running off the dedicated Intel USB 3 that is built in to the Intel chipset. These are no longer running off of third-party chipsets. Here we have 2 SATA 3 6 gigabit per second ports running off the Intel chipset, as well as 3 SATA 2 3 gigabit per second ports also running off the Intel chipset. The 6th one running off the chipset is right there on the back panel, and yeah, okay. Well, we'll cover the fan headers later. Here's your front panel connectors, as well as your increased power front USB 2 header. So you want to plug that into your front USB 2 as opposed to the other ones here, because it'll allow you to quickly charge even a high draw device such as an iPad. Here are 2 regular USB 2 front panel headers, as well as the trusted platform module and front panel audio. You can see the dedicated section of the PCB is right over here, which is good. Okay, PCI Express slot layout. So this is a 16x slot. This is an... You gotta be kidding me, really? Oh, that's a very strange layout. Okay. Well, this is a PCIe 16x slot that is only wired for 4x, so this is going to be the one that is not preferable to use, especially if you aren't running a 3rd generation processor. This one is wired for 8x, so if you're running Crossfire or SLI, these two are going to give you the ideal bandwidth split. This guy's running at PCIe 1x. I never actually covered the sockets, so whether you're running Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge, or even... Sandy Bridge or Ivy Bridge, this will have full support, including the onboard GPU, which brings us around to the back of the board where we've got 4 USB 2.0 ports, a PS2 port, I still do like to see this, VGA, DVI, DisplayPort, as well as HDMI output. So you have the full range of outputs. Remember, the IGP on the 3rd generation Core processors actually supports 3 monitors out, which is very, very cool. eSATA, 2 more USB 3.0 ports provided by the Intel chipset, an Intel Gigabit Ethernet, as well as 7.1 audio out, including optical audio out. On the back of the board, we find your typical backplate, and that is a matte black PCB. I know I've stopped commenting on it as much these days, but that doesn't mean I like it any less. Matte black PCB is still the way to go. Aha, the fan headers. So we've got 4 4-pin PWM fan headers, and I think that pretty much covers it. So if you're putting together an mATX performance rig with the new Ivy Bridge CPU and some kind of combination of high-end graphics and an SSD and all kinds of... Oh, right! Intel SRT technology. If you don't want to run a dedicated SSD for your boot drive, you can still use your SSD as a cache. That is supported as part of the Z77 platform, and I don't even see anything about it on the box. Oh yeah, there it is. See, easy smart response. Gigabyte's way of setting up smart response is actually easier than anyone else's by a long shot. It's basically like a one-touch setup to get everything running. So thank you for checking out this unboxing, and don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer